to the commentary box, but welcome along to Estoril. Never mind the irrelevant information, what about the actual facts? It's 4:10 local time. Air temperature 22 degrees, as you can see for yourself. Track 31. And following the conclusion of the Yamaha R3 bLU cRU World Cup of 2024, now time for something completely different in the form of the R3 bLU cRU European SuperFinale. And very much like World Superbikes was when it started for its first round in 1988, the overall winner will be decided over two individual races, two individual legs then. So how does this work? We have a selection of different riders here. Some of them regular winners, some of them regular front runners. Others are champions in their own right in the various R3 World Cups and R3 series, I should say, around the world. Plenty of tension now on the grid. Look at the focus in the riders' eyes. The point system, first of all, let's get that clear, is the same as the regular World Cup. 25 for the win, 20 for second, 16 for third, down to 1 for 15th place. But your overall winner will be decided the most points over the course of the two races. So, Charlie Mendes is on pole position. Rider number 6, he's 14 years of age from the Dominican Republic. And he's racing this season, or was, in the AD78 FIM Latino America Series. Also riders here from the bLU cRU Yamaha Racing Benelux Championship, the French Series, the Spanish Championship, the Italian competition, and Japan as well. 25 of them in contention for victory, with the prize being a free entry into the Yamaha R3 bLU cRU World Cup of 2025. So Greg Haynes with you, and the warm-up lap is underway here at Estoril on the Atlantic coast of Portugal. We'll have to get used to the fact that the number 23 is not Gonzalo Sanchez, who of course was racing and just missed out by the narrowest ever margin to Mark Vick in the R3 World Cup. 23 on this occasion is Ruben Montero, one of the 15-year-old riders from Spain. The youngest rider on the grid here is Ayman Bocanegra, and remember the absolute historics we saw from him in the World Cup back at Manicourt in France. He's just 14 years old, the rider from Peru. The oldest rider on the grid is Giulio Basili, the 17-year-old from Italy. The champions on the grid. We don't have the French champion, Jolan, because he was injured, unfortunately, the weekend on which he won his title. But his rivals weren't able to score enough points to beat him. So Jolan's not here, but Arthur Massi, who was second in the French championship, is. Mattia Bosello from Italy is here. He won their series. Then we've also got Kakeru Okunuki, the rider from Japan. He won the Asia Pacific Championship. The Benelux champion is the number 17, and that's one of the Dutch riders. And that's Taya Lichtermood, so watch out for him. He's very aggressive at coming through. The Spanish champion, Raul Navarrete, and Ayman Bocanegra, as I said before, was the Latino America champion. They've qualified here yesterday. Charlie Mendes, number 6, is on the pole position. 14 years of age, as I say, from the Dominican Republic. Number 23 is alongside him. It's 3x3 on the grid rows. So Ruben Montero, who I mentioned before, is second. And then completing the front row of the grid is the 94, and that's Arthur Massi, who was second in the French bLU cRU series this year. And just to prove how successful this formula is, it was Gonzalo Sanchez who won this SuperFinale. It wasn't here at Estoril, it was at Portimao last year, and he was given the free entry to the bLU cRU World Cup, which he so nearly won. Congratulations again to Mark Vick for winning the World Cup this year by just 3 points, the closest ever margin. But here is Charlie Mendes, the 14-year-old from the Dominican Republic. And they're lining up on the grid. Now, nobody's going to win the super finale here today, but it's the points over the 2 races that counts. But clearly, a retirement from today's race, and you will have thrown it all away. Here we go then, number 6, the 14-year-old Charlie Mendes is on pole position. The 2024 bLU cRU European SuperFinale is go here at Estoril in Portugal. Slipstream is the name of the game in the R3 Championships all around the world, and this is the best of all of the riders, the creme de la creme, all on track together here at Estoril. Ruben Montero is looking up the inside, down into turn 1 on the opening lap. Turn 2, a quick right-hander, flat out on these bikes. Braking hard now for turn 3 as the champions fight with one another. Down to second place then goes Charlie Mendes from pole. Oseite is right in there to challenge for the race win as well. One of the riders from Spain. Out of the VIP hairpin on the opening lap, through the kick now at turn 5. There's the shadow of the footbridge, which runs along the top of the track here. And down to the interior parabolica at turn 6. You certainly can't win the race on the opening lap, but you certainly can lose it. Mendes is back in front, but is he for long because Oseite's on the outside? And a lot of these riders are fighting with one another for the first time because they know their fellow riders from their various championships around Europe and the world, but not necessarily racing with each other. 25 have taken the start, 2 unfortunately out of action. One of them, Roberto Fernandez, the 16-year-old Spanish rider who is injured, and also Christian Pucci, one of the Italians. Still 7 Italians on the grid, which is more than any other nationality, but Pucci has been injured. He's here, he's at Estoril, but he's unable to ride. The 17-year-old who spectacularly pulled a last corner move in the World Cup to win race 2 at Misano earlier on this season. This weekend started off with a practice session, and that was topped by the number 25, Timo Suos, the 16-year-old Dutch rider, with qualifying then following later on Friday, and Charlie Mendes doing the honours. Kakeru Okanuki is up there, the Asia-Pacific bLU cRU champion. You can see the names on the left-hand side of your screen. Okanuki is number 81, and he's right up there now in the leading group. That's the 43, and that's Ivan Spada, 15 years of age, one of the regular front runners in the Italian series this year, the very, very hotly contested Italian series that was wrapped up by Bocello. Spada himself was 7th overall with mandatory racing. This is only lap 2 here in a 10-lap encounter. Still a level of them in this leading group, which includes Gianmaria Ibidi. He was a wild card at the Misano round of the World Cup earlier on this year. He's also competed in the Moto 3 tier of the Italian Championship. 7th and 4th he was at Misano from a brilliant 2nd on the grid. This is the tight chicane at Estoril. All of these corners were inserted in 1993, and somebody's down, somebody's down. Problems already then at the end of lap 2, and there's damage there. Aimon Bocanegra is down. What disappointment for the Peruvian, the youngest rider in the race at 14 years of age, who went so brilliantly at Manicor in the World Cup. He was 12th on the grid there, but 2nd and 5th in the races, and he's not the only one, because De Wits from Belgium is out of this race as well, the 17-year-old who was racing in the Benelux Championship this season. Bocanegra is back in the race, and although he'll have a chance for race victory on Sunday, his chances of winning the super finale have just gone up in smoke as they'll combine the 2 races in terms of points. And Giulio Basili is down as well, so that's the youngest rider in the race, Bocanegra, and now the oldest rider in the race, the 17-year-old Basili, one of the Italians, out of the race. Now look at that, bocCanegra with the advantage. He tried to do what Toprak Razgatlioglu did on a Yamaha R1 and hold it when he had a moment through there, and then contact further back. 44 is Basili. Would you believe it? What a mess of a start. De Witz's bike in there as well as they tried to rejoin. All three very fortunate not to be collected, in particular bocCanegra, who was just off the line. And certainly one of the riders looks as though they're requiring some assistance there up at the S's. What a shame. The leading group then is still 10. This is the Interior Parabolica. And there are many, many important prizes up for grabs here. Down into the Oreja corner, 26 goes through. That's Daniel Sete Mirades, to give him his full name, the 17-year-old from Spain. Okanuki, number 81, and the good news for him, there he is in second place, is that he will be, whatever happens in the SuperFinale this year, in the World Cup for 2025. He's been picked out as one of the real stars across the bLU cRU R3 series. In the 6 championships we have around the world. Out of the Ayrton Senna Parabolica, so named because the late great 3-time Brazilian Formula 1 world champion won his first F1 race here at Estoril in 1985. 3 abreast, is it going to be 4? As we stream our way down the kilometre-long start-finish and into turn 1, Emanuele Pastore's up there. He's 16 years old, number 55 from Italy. Taya Lichtermood, the rider from the Netherlands, number 17, fastest up of the race so far. He's in 17th position at the moment. He's 16 years old. In the Benelux Championship this year. And where is Arthur Massey, number 94? He was second in the French series. He's 16th in the race at the moment. Dorian Jolan unable to compete, despite winning the French Championship, because he was a full-time runner in the R3 World Cup of 2024. So it would be very much defeating the object, if you like, because he's already in the World Cup, so there's no point fighting for a place in it here in the SuperFinale. This is the event that was won last year, as I said before, by Gonzalo Sanchez, who then went in to dominate the start of the season in the World Cup with the 2 most dominant victories ever, one of them by over 11 seconds in Barcelona. Number 6, that's Charlie Mendes, the rider from the Dominican Republic. 7 riders from the Italian series, 5 from the Benelux Championship, 4 from Spain and France, 3 from the Latino America series, and then Japan and Thailand also represented the Asia Pacific Championship in this race. Well, Charlie Mendes doesn't need to panic too much, even though, as you can see on the graphics, he has dropped down through the field a little bit. After that pole position start, he lost a few places off the line, didn't he? Number 61 towards us is Jean-Marie Ibidi. And there's a crasher further back because Pinheiro is out of the race. The Brazilian has gone down at turn 10. That's the right-hander climbing. Oh, and a big incident at turn 1 at the start of lap 5. 2 of them then taken out of contention in this leading group. Okanuki's one of them. There he is with the Japanese flag on the front of the bike, and somebody else went down there as well. So Okanuki, luckily for him, as I've just said, he's already in the World Cup next year, but he's not going to be winning the SuperFinale, and neither is Ivan Spada, because he's been caught up as well. And Spada, did he manage to rejoin? Okanuki's absolutely furious. No, Spada did not rejoin. One of them trudges off in one direction, one of them in the other. And Okanuki clearly feeling that was Spada's fault. Well, what on earth happened there? I think Spada's lost control and hit the back of the Japanese rider, the Japanese on the left, the Italian on the right, and the striking-looking Spada out of this race. And that's a nasty one for Okanuki, who slides his way down into the runoff area. Bits and pieces all over the place. He was completely speared there by the Italian, by the looks of things, on the run into turn 1. And look at this reaction from the 17-year-old Japanese rider as he spots Spada walking across the runoff area. Well, that's taken a few out of the leading group as we move into the second half of this race. Let's just regroup. Ibidi is number 61, and he still leads this race. Second is number 17, and that's Taya Lichtermood from the Netherlands. 55, who had a short stint in the lead earlier on, is the Italian Emanuele Pastore in third place. Then it's Aceite from Spain, and Montero, number 23, another Spanish rider, inside the top 5. The R3 World Cup of 2025 will include another 6 rounds. We're awaiting the final dates because the World Superbike calendar is not yet official in terms of the R3 Cup dates. We have the overall calendar out, but we're waiting for the R3 World Cup dates. There will also be a bLU cRU training camp. It's just been confirmed yesterday for the first time. And don't forget the bLU cRU, a very, very successful initiative already for Yamaha, not just in the world of road racing, but in MXGP as well. Oh, it's getting tight through the VIP corner. Remember, the winner of the event after 2 races and combined points, it's like a championship of 2 heats here this weekend, will get a free place in the R3 bLU cRU World Cup of next year. There will be 6 rounds, so the winner has a full season, and then 2nd through 7 in the super finale will receive wild card rides. So whoever's 2nd in the super finale this weekend will have a wild card in round 1, and whoever's 6th will have 7th rather will have a wild card in round 6. So each of the top runners up in that top 7 who do not win the championship will still receive at least 1 wild card ride in the bLU cRU R3 World Cup of 2025. And then in the World Cup itself, which we've seen won by Mark Vick, they'll get a free supported ride, or certainly very heavily supported ride, in the Supersport 300 World Championship, which we've already seen over the last 3 years since the World Cup started in 2021. Iker Garcia, then Enzo Valentin and Emiliano Ercolani. It'll be Mark Vick next year, progressing up through as World Cup champion to the Supersport 300 World Championship. And sure enough, Aldi Mahendra, the Indonesian, former front runner and championship contender in the R3 World Cup, will be contending for the World Championship at Jerez in Spain next weekend. Now, the Magnificent 7 locked together here. Out of the race goes Neo de Wit, the rider from Belgium. He had a crash earlier on. I don't know whether this second incident is a legacy of damage from the first one. A lot of gravel stuck to that hot, sticky rear tyre. Here's the incident. The front's going to wash away again, and de Wit slides his way down into the grass. Now we are into the final third of this race. Spectacular in slow motion, but not for Neo de Wit. The 17-year-old, to all intents and purposes, out of this race. That's turn 9. That's the left-hander climbing back up the hill towards the Parabolica at the end of the lap. Side by side, out of the interior Parabolica as they squabble for third place. Montero's in there, Aceite and Pastore. Montero and Aceite are Spanish riders. Pastore is from Italy. Some more marshals I just spotted there at the bottom of the screen, attending to somebody by the looks of things on the outside of the Oreja corner. What motivation for all of these riders. They've seen the success of Álvaro Díaz. They've seen the success of Aldi Mahendra. Can they follow in their footsteps for some World Championship glory? Remember, Álvaro Díaz was the Supersport 300 World Champion 2 years ago. You see the green flash there on the crash helmet. That's Raúl Navarrete, the 15-year-old from Spain. OK, let's drive 4 abreast down the start-finish. But Ibidi and Lichtermood and Aceite are just about edging away there. The trio fighting for the win. De Wit's now into the pits and out of the race. It's no wonder, really, after 2 crashes in this one. What's happening further back in the race? The number 83, Matteo Bosello, the Italian national champion in the R3 bLU cRU series this year, in 10th place. Beltran Garcia we saw doing a wild card in the World Cup, didn't we? That was back at Barcelona. He's 11th in this one. You have to feel, don't you, for Okanuki in that incident earlier on down at turn 1 with Spada. Basili out of this race as well. Boccanegra still running, but down in 20th position after throwing away the lead through the S's in the early stages. Just 2 laps left then here at Estoril at the end of this one. We've had some absolutely spectacular racing for the bLU cRU in 2024. Let's look back, because this is your fight going on for the lower reaches of the points positions. There is Bosello, the Italian champion, number 83. This is for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Negasanti's in there, number 71. Ruben, also from Italy. You see the Italian flag there on the back of the leathers. Beltran Garcia, number 96, is from Spain, and running wide on the exit is the 94. Artem Massi, the 16-year-old, runner-up in the French bLU cRU series to Jolan this year. Now, we're coming down the start-finish, and we've got a leading quintet almost, because there's some really intelligent riding going on here from Navarrete and Pastore to work together, use the toe, use the slipstream. The gear ratios are locked, but they can change the gearing with the sprockets, and that's success, that's a result. They were beginning to lose some ground to the leading 3, but they're back there now. It's one long 10-wheeled Yamaha R3 now out the front, and 2 laps to go. 25 points, 20, 16, 13, 11 for the top 5. Otheite looks behind him. Otheite did compete at Most in the R3 World Cup back in 2021. Qualified 6th on the grid. Crashed quite heavily, unfortunately, in race 1 and had to withdraw from race 2. Almost on the grass down the back straight. Otheite there in that 3rd position. Navarrete has a look at Pastore. Pastore with the all-white crash helmet. So Ibidi, number 61, towards us. The white helmet, the rider from Italy. Lichtermood from the Netherlands, representing the Benelux Championship. Number 17, 2nd place, 26. That's Dani Otheite from Spain. Almost under attack there as I interrupt myself from Pastore. There he is, number 55. And behind Pastore is Navarrete from the Spanish series. And I'll tell you what, this isn't just about the 5, this could even be 6 or the magnificent 7. Because Charlie Mendes, the pole sitter from the Dominican Republic, is closing in. And so is the number 23 of Montero, who's lost ground because people were crashing in front of him. But he led briefly earlier on in the race. Here we go, what a race this is. The 10th and final lap in the first leg of the Yamaha bLU cRU R3 European SuperFinale of 2024. The winner of the event will be the rider who's amassed the highest number of points by the end of 2 races on Sunday. This is the last lap of the first race. There goes Charlie Mendes up the inside, but they really need to close that gap in because the top 5 are breaking away. And it's frustration for Mendes and for Montero. 8th in the race still is the number 25, Timo Suos, the Dutch rider, 16 years old. But surely they're going to be out of this now unless something really dramatic happens between the top 5. Absolutely flat out through the kink on these Yamaha R3s. Down now to the interior parabolica. Manuele Pastore on the inside. The 26 of Otheite from Spain. Wonderful manoeuvre around the outside of the interior parabolica. And Otheite leads. Look for Lichtermood now, the rider from the Netherlands. The 61 dives up the inside. Jean-Maria Ibidi. It's worked, but it's opened up a nice gap. And look, they have indeed backed themselves into the other riders. Otheite from Spain has a very handy advantage. And as all of this toing and froing goes on in the fight for second, it's handing the race to Dani Miralles, the 17-year-old. Look at that advantage now. This is the last corner, and that, in Yamaha bLU cRU terms, is a huge lead. Number 26, Dani Miralles, 17 years old from Spain. Ibidí's closing in, but it's not going to be enough. Dani wins the first race, just. Wonderful effect of the slipstream there for Jean-Marie Ibidí. But what a ride it was for the number 26. Dani is victorious here. He started 4th on the grid, and he banks 25 crucial European SuperFinale points to give him the edge heading into the second leg here on Sunday. Wonderful, wonderful riding, and an absolutely splendid last lap. He was certainly helped by all of the fighting in what was, in the end, a 7-rider contest for second place. But what an absolute blinder there for Otheite. There he is. Remember the name, it's only half of the job done. There's his friend Navarrete stopping alongside him. They've been fighting all year long in the Yamaha bLU cRU Racing Spain ranks over in the Spanish series. But Dani Otheite has done it. What an achievement. He's still only 17 years of age, and that actually makes him one of the oldest riders on the grid here in the SuperFinale. Let me remind you again of how this works. 25 points then. He still needs to go out and bank enough points for victory tomorrow. So clearly another win will do it for him. And a podium should be enough, but it will depend, of course, on where the others finish. Ibidí, Pastore got 3rd place. There's the full results on the left-hand side of your screen. Lichtermood's going to be very frustrated, I think, there, number 17, because he was leading for quite a long time in that race and ends up down in 5th place. Here's Emanuele Pastore. And Andrea Locatelli, like number 55, on the front of a Yamaha. And Pastore was one of your regular front runners in the Italian Championship this season, finished 6th there. The big losers, of course, those who crashed early on, who were very much in contention. The likes of Spada, Boccanegra, of course, and Okanuki was absolutely furious with Spada down at turn 1. Boccanegra, I'm afraid, had only himself to blame. Great misfortune for the 14-year-old from Peru, who was leading the race. Got it wrong all by himself when he slid out, climbing up the hill towards the end of the lap. Great shame for him, but certainly no shame for Dani Otheite, who will come in to Parc Fermé. But this doesn't guarantee anything, because if he's caught up in an incident tomorrow and scores no points in race 2, he won't be winning this SuperFinale. And we've seen moments before in championships like this when you have 2 different legs. In fact, if you think back to the very first World Superbike round at Donington in 1988, Davide Tardozzi won the first one. And all he needed to do was finish on the podium, but he crashed under Starkey's Bridge in the second one. So the overall event win went to Marco Lucanelli. And that's the sort of misfortune Otheite will want to certainly avoid here on Sunday. Ibidí will be well placed. Don't forget also, the best laps in this race will decide the grid for race 2 on Sunday, and that means then that Timo Suos, the 16-year-old Dutch rider, will start on pole position. He was 8th today, but did set the fastest lap of the race. So Suos, he scored 8 points for 8th. It's going to be difficult to win the SuperFinale from there, but you just never know, do you? There's Ibidí. Being snapped behind as well there by the ever-efficient Gray Pham, who is our photographer here. And I'm sure we'll be seeing all of the images going out on the press releases and social media later on. Thank you again, as ever, for all of your comments on the Yamaha Racing YouTube page. We very much enjoyed going back through those as the season has gone on and all of the live coverage across the season. In, though, comes your winner, and that is Dani Otheite. We'll be hearing from him in a moment down in Parc Fermé. I wonder how he's feeling, because He's done all he can do. But in some ways, it puts more pressure on him, doesn't it, now, going into Sunday, because he's got that lead. Then again, I suppose you could argue you'd rather have the points advantage than a deficit. There's different ways of looking at it. And he is absolutely overjoyed, as you can see for yourself. And that was Ivan Spada, you can just see walking out of the shot in the background. And he was coming up either to congratulate one of his fellow Italians or perhaps apologise. It was Pastore he was talking to. I suspect it was a congratulatory chat there. But Spada, of course, was involved in that incident down at turn 1 earlier in the race, which took out the very, very unfortunate Japanese rider, Kakeru Okanuki, who was absolutely furious with Spada over that one. Here's Ibidi. Really came of age in the R3 World Cup as a wild card at Misano earlier on this season, when he finished 7th in race 1 and 4th in race 2 from a front row start in qualifying. There is Spada. You see him there with his hair tied back on the other side of the barrier. Yeah, he doesn't look happy, does he? I don't really think that's congratulations there. I think there's a few little discussions and perhaps apologies going on. Need to see another replay, don't we? We'll have to watch the race back on YouTube to see what happened down there. But your winner, who we'll hear from in just a moment, is Dani Otheite. What a great
win.
Won
the first race of the R3 bLU cRU SuperFinale after an incredible race. Tell us how you feel.
Well, I feel super excited. I mean, I worked very hard to arrive at this moment, and I want to thank all my sponsors, my team, Duarte that is here helping me, and I want to apologize in one thing. I want to thank a person that has been with me my whole career, has supported me the best at the worst moment, and well, I want to thank my dad. Thank you for all, and my family and everything.
Congratulations, enhorabuena.
Thanks.
Yes, enhorabuena indeed. Thank you very much, Georgia Wells, for the interview. Lovely words there from a highly, highly emotional Dani Otheite Miralles. Miralles, of course, the second of his 2 surnames, Otheite the first. In Spain, you have 2 surnames. Traditionally, it's the father's surname followed by the mother's surname, but that has changed in recent years. Depends on what each family prefers to do. Dani coming through then. You see the headlight stickers there on the front of the bikes. That is actually a rule from the governing body, the FIM, in order to make the bikes look as much. And there's Andrea Dossi, incidentally, just getting up onto the podium there. He's going to be handing out the trophies. Olga Yaritz from Dorna. But those headlight stickers to make the bikes look as alike as possible to the road-going equivalents. Of course, it's the R3 here in what's been the World Cup we've seen all season long, and this is the SuperFinale. Natalia Rivera was right up there, if you remember, as well, in the SuperFinale last year on the podium. And incidentally, many, many congratulations to Natalia Rivera, another exponent of the Yamaha bLU cRU, who has recently at Imola, alongside the Italian Championship, the CIV, wrapped up the European Women's Championship of 2024. So well done indeed, Natalia. All male riders in the field, as it's turned out for the SuperFinale this weekend. It's absolutely brilliant, though, to see how the bLU cRU system has embraced female talent as well, not just in the motocross world, but here in road racing as well. And how's it decided as to those who take part in the SuperFinale? It's all to do with results over the season in the individual bLU cRU competitions around the world.
Also from Italy, Gianmaria Ibidi.
There's Emanuele Pastore, Gianmaria Ibidi. There he is, second place, 25 SuperFinale points for Otheite, who makes his way up onto the podium now. There's Dani. What a well-mannered chap he is, the 17-year-old from Spain.
With our third classified rider, Emanuele Pastore. The second classified rider presentation now to Gianmaria Ibidi.
Thank you, incidentally, to Ian Wheeler at Yamaha and to all of you on YouTube, Juan, Mario and others for all of the kind words. And just again, I'll extend my thanks to Ian and Ollie in particular here in the bLU cRU, to Georgia Wells for all of your support. It's been a pleasure working with you all this season, but we've got one more leg to go on Sunday. First of all then, the Spanish national anthem for your winner here, Dani Ofeite. No surprise, of course, that a Yamaha won the race in the European SuperFinale. The Japanese national anthem then.
Congratulations to the top three. If we can ask the second and third place riders just to come together, please, on the top step, we'll get the official photograph from the R3 SuperFinale race number 1. And then we'll let these,
well, we knew Dani Ofeite was good, didn't we? Remember when he was 14 years old and he turned up as a wild card at Most in the World Cup 3 years ago? And stunningly qualified 6th on the grid. Well, here he is, winning leg 1 of the European SuperFinale of 2024. So, Dani Ofeite wins, that's 25 SuperFinale points. Ibidi second, Pastore third from Navarrete, and Lichtermood, the rider from the Netherlands. And great to see a different flag up there as well, the flag of the Dominican Republic for our pole sitter, but he's got it all to do tomorrow, has Mendes, because Charlie was down in 6th place in that race. Not bad going, of course, but they will add together the points in a mini championship of 2 races to decide the overall winner at the end of the weekend. Aimon Bocanegra, he threw it away, didn't he? He was leading early doors, lost control, and ends up 19th and out of the points. So there you are. We will be back for the finale of the SuperFinale, and that will take place at the same time tomorrow, 4:15 Portuguese time. So just under 24 hours from now. Going into that will be your leader, Dani Ofeite. Can he go on to bank enough points to come out of here as the European SuperFinale winner of 2024? We will find out on Sunday.